Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well. Today, we're taking a closer look at a serious and ongoing investigation as law enforcement officials step forward to address the public. Investigators explain that the briefing will begin with the investigation division, followed by remarks from Special Agent in Charge Patrick Grandandy from the FBI's Los Angeles field office, and then a short question and answer session. They emphasize that this investigation is still active, and because of that, some information cannot be released at this time. Authorities stress that while they have worked carefully to share as many confirmed details as possible, protecting the integrity of the case remains their top priority as the investigation continues. What information do you think investigators are still holding back as they work to move this case forward?
We did do a very thorough job of trying to provide you with the most amount of information that we possibly could without compromising the investigation. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Sheriff Bill Brown.
Well, thank you, and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here with us today. I am Santa Barbara County Sheriff Coroner Bill Brown, and today I am deeply saddened to report to you that the body of Melody Alani Buzzard, the 9-year-old child who went missing from the Lompoc area in October of this year, has been found in a rural area outside of Canesville in Wayne County, Utah. And that this morning at approximately 7:51 a.m., members of our Sheriff's Office and the FBI arrested her mother, Ashley Lynn Buzzard, for her murder. Maternal filicide is rare and always difficult to comprehend. But this level of criminal activity is particularly shocking given the calculated, cold-blooded, and criminally sophisticated premeditation and heartlessness that went into planning it and the ruthlessness that went into actually committing the crime. We have recovered a significant amount of evidence that clearly indicates that this heinous crime was committed by Ashley Buzzard, Melody's mother, and the very person upon who she relied upon and trusted the most in this world. From the moment this case was reported, our detectives pursued every lead with determination, with urgency, and with compassion. Our investigators and those of our allied agencies worked simultaneously on multiple fronts, some maintaining around-the-clock surveillance of Ashley Buzzard, while others focused on the painstaking collection, analysis, and verification of physical, digital, and forensic evidence. That sustained effort was critical in bringing this case to where it stands today. Throughout this investigation, our detectives faced deliberate efforts to prevent them from finding Melody and uncovering the truth. Despite those attempts, their focus never wavered. They remained disciplined, methodical, and relentless in their pursuit of the facts. Whenever obstacles were placed in their path, they overcame them. When cooperation was withheld, they relied on the evidence. Their commitment did not falter, and their determination did not fade. They followed the facts wherever they led, and that ultimately is what brought clarity and resolution to this case. Now I'm going to go over a timeline of the major developments in this case. Before I do that, though, and before I walk through it, I want to thank in particular, and we'll go into some further detail of our allied agencies that helped us, but two in particular that I want to recognize at the start of this, and that is the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which has been with us throughout the investigation and has helped us not only in our regional area, but also out of state. And I particularly want to thank Sheriff Micah Gully and the members of the Wayne County Sheriff's Office in Wayne County, Utah, and every other agency that assisted us with their partnership, their professionalism, and for their commitment to this case. This level of coordination among jurisdictions was essential It was superb, and we are grateful for the support provided at every stage.
Investigators explain that while this is still an active criminal case and some details cannot yet be shared, they are able to outline the major milestones that shaped the investigation. The timeline begins on October 14th, when a school administrator reported Melody's prolonged and concerning absence from school, triggering the first official response and setting the investigation into motion.
Deputies responded to the family's residence in Lompoc, where her mother, Ashley Buzzard, was contacted. Melody was not at the residence, and Ashley provided no verifiable explanation for Melody's whereabouts. October 15th, 2025. Detectives served a search warrant at the Buzzard residence in the 500 block of Mars Avenue in the Lompoc area, looking for evidence pertaining to Melody's whereabouts. Subsequent to the search warrant, it was determined that Ashley had recently rented a car, and video surveillance images were obtained showing Ashley and Melody at the rental car office, both of them wearing wigs in an apparent attempt to conceal their identity. These images were shared with the public on October the 22nd in an attempt to obtain additional information about their whereabouts. On October 24th, 2025, detectives shared an updated timeline and travel route with the public of Melody's last known movements along a multi-state round-trip travel route that included California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Wyoming, and Nebraska, with a return route including Kansas, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, Nevada, and then back to California. Detectives learned that along this trip, Ashley switched the license plates on the vehicle she had rented to a New York plate, and found out that she would back her vehicle into gas stations in an apparent attempt to avoid detection by their surveillance cameras. Melody was last seen on video surveillance with Ashley on the Colorado side of the Colorado-Utah border on Thursday, October 9th, 2025. And detectives now believe that Melody was murdered shortly after that stop. On October the 30th, sheriff's detectives, along with the FBI evidence response team, responded and served follow-up search warrants at the home of Ashley Buzzard, as well as for a storage locker that she had rented and upon the car that she had recently rented as well. During the search of the Mars Avenue residence, an expended cartridge case was recovered. During the search of the vehicle, a live round of similar ammunition was located. Detectives submitted the expended cartridge case to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives for inclusion in their national database called NIBIN, the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network.
On December 6, 2025, deputies from the Wayne County Sheriff's Office in Utah responded to a call from a man and a woman who were taking photographs in a remote area near the 3,300 block of East State Route 24. Just off the roadway, near West Canville Road, they made a disturbing discovery: a decomposed human body hidden along the side of the terrain, immediately raising the seriousness of the investigation. At that moment, did investigators already suspect who this victim might be?
On December 8th, 2025, a member of the Wayne County Sheriff's Office notified the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office of the discovery of the unidentified found body. Although immediate identification of the deceased person was not possible, it was apparent that the decedent was a female who had died from gunshot wounds to the head. December 17th, 2025. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives examination of cartridge cases found at the Utah crime scene resulted in a NIBIN hit, linking them to the single cartridge case that was found at the Buzzard residence. On December 22nd, yesterday, the FBI Crime Lab notified our agency that DNA analysis had determined that the remains found in Utah were a familial DNA match to Ashley Buzzard. Today, December 23rd, 2025, members of the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office and the FBI served search and arrest warrants at the Mars Avenue residence and arrested Ashley Lynn Buzzard for the murder of Melody Buzzard. Ashley was taken into custody without incident, and she was booked at the Northern Branch Jail for first-degree murder, where she is currently being held without bail. While these developments represent important steps towards holding Ashley Buzzard accountable for the murder of her daughter, they do not diminish the profound loss that we are acknowledging today. Because this case is now moving through the court system, there are limits on what additional detail we can share publicly at this time. At this point, I'm going to ask Lieutenant Chris Gottschall to recognize the personnel and agencies whose work in our region was instrumental in this investigation.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good afternoon. This case required an extraordinary level of coordination and commitment amongst all agencies. I want to specifically recognize the detectives who tirelessly worked from the very beginning, including lead detective Joe Oliver, Detective Ruben Esparza, Detective Matt Maxwell, Detective Cliff Kabasig, Detective Thomas Brownlee, and Sergeant Jeff McDonald, along with numerous investigators, sheriff's deputies, professional staff, and support personnel who contributed countless hours to this effort. I'd also like to acknowledge our allied agencies whose cooperation and assistance were essential to advancing this investigation across multiple jurisdictions. A special thanks to our Santa Maria resident agency of the FBI, Supervisory Senior Resident Agent Mike Rusev, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the California Department of Justice, the Santa Barbara County District Attorney's Office, Santa Barbara County Child Welfare Services, the Lompoc Unified School District, and Santa Barbara County Search and Rescue. At this time, I would like to invite Special Agent in Charge Patrick Grandy, executive from the FBI Los Angeles Field Office, to speak about the FBI's key role in supporting this investigation. Thank you, Sheriff.
Good afternoon. My name is Patrick Grandy, and I'm a Special Agent in Charge with the FBI's Los Angeles Field Office. Various FBI field offices in multiple states devoted resources to this investigation, and I can confidently speak on behalf of all FBI employees when I say that our collective hearts are broken as a result of this senseless outcome. The agents in our Santa Maria office, just north of here, worked tirelessly for the past couple of months with the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office, and this has no doubt affected them as well personally.
Everyone involved in the case shared the same hope that Melody would be found alive. But even as that hope faded, the commitment to justice did not. The FBI made it clear they would continue supporting Santa Barbara County with every available resource, from advanced laboratory analysis to tracking leads across state lines, reflecting the reality that this investigation stretched far beyond a single jurisdiction.
FBI field offices in Denver, Kansas City, Las Vegas, Omaha, Salt Lake City, San Diego, and San Francisco, as well as numerous other local partners, provided resources. In particular, as the sheriff mentioned, the Wayne County Sheriff's Department in Utah and their medical examiner for their dedication to Melody's remains once they were found. Thank you in advance for bearing with me, as I would like to recognize the following agencies that also played a significant role in this investigation. As the sheriff mentioned, it was quite extensive. From the state of Colorado, the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, Colorado Department of Transportation, Colorado State Police, Fremont County Sheriff's Office, Grand Junction, Colorado Police Department, Gunnison Police Department, Gunnison Sheriff's Office, Salida Police Department. From the state of Nebraska, the Nebraska State Police. From the state of Utah, the Paiute County Sheriff's Office, St. George Police Department, the Utah State Bureau of Investigation, and the Utah Department of Public Safety. Lastly, I'd like to recognize the media for reporting on this story continuously, and for members of the public who called in tips. We continue to urge anyone with information about Melody's murder to contact law enforcement. Thank you, and I'll turn it back over to the sheriff.
Thank you. Let me just conclude by saying these remarks. The circumstances of Melody Buzzard's murder are heartbreaking. All of us who have been involved in this case have been deeply affected by it. We were hoping against hope that she would be safely found. This outcome is deeply tragic, and on behalf of the entire Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office, I want to extend our deepest condolences to those who knew and loved Melody. I want to take a moment to speak directly to the Meza and Buzzard families who have endured unimaginable pain throughout this ordeal. Their strength, their patience, and their steadfast hope have been evident from the very beginning. No family should ever have to experience this kind of loss, and our hearts are with them today and will be with them in the difficult days ahead. We stand with them and we remain committed to securing justice for Melody. I also want to thank the members of the media, both you here in our region and those out of state, for your continued coverage, including the conveyance of Melody's image and the circumstances of her disappearance all across America. Your involvement played a meaningful role in advancing this investigation.
To everyone in the community who followed this case, your attention, support, and the information you provided were invaluable. The loss of a child is one of the deepest tragedies a community can face, made even more devastating when it comes at the hands of someone who should have protected and loved them. How does a community begin to heal from such a heartbreaking betrayal?
Today, we stand together in grief, but also with resolve. Melody deserved a far better life than she had. We will honor her memory by ensuring that every step of this process is handled with care, compassion, and a steadfast commitment to justice. Our investigation does not end here. We will continue working closely with prosecutors and ensure that the judicial process moves forward with integrity. May God bless the innocent soul of Melody Alani Buzzard, who we will never, ever forget. Thank you, and I'll now turn it back over to our PIO, Rock Helser.
We have allotted some time if anybody has any follow-up questions. Again, reinforcing the fact that we do have an ongoing investigation, and while we're trying to balance transparency with seeking justice for Melody, so we do have an opportunity to take just a few questions. Yes, Crystal.
Yeah, Raquel, I'm just curious, do we believe at this moment that Ashley acted alone, or is there any potential leads that other suspects may be involved?
So the question is, do we believe that Ashley acted alone in this homicide? I'll turn it over to Lieutenant Gottschall. Please step to the podium.
Thank you for your question. Our investigation thus far has revealed that at this time we don't believe that anyone else was involved.
Right here, yes.
Raquel, the sheriff mentioned the retrieval of cartridges
Yes.
and the live rounds. Is the murder weapon in evidence?
So the question is about the location of the murder weapon, if we have that in our evidence or in our possession at this time. I'll turn that over to Sheriff Brown.
Thank you. Yeah, the short answer is no. We do not have the murder weapon yet, but we continue to seek it.
I'll come back to you for your follow-up question in just a moment. Go ahead, yes?
Will this case be tried in Santa Barbara County or?
The trial for this case is set to take place in Santa Barbara County, where investigators believe the intent for the crime was established before the cross-state journey occurred. This location ensures that the proceedings are held where the events initially unfolded and where the case originated.
So we're going to have room for just a couple more questions. I'll volley back here. Yes?
And for any of you, I know early in the investigation, investigators had been out in those various areas along the road trip. Had that area in Wayne County been searched at all?
So the question is if investigators on their initial routes had been through that area of Wayne County. I believe you're asking if we'd specifically probably been to the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
I'm going to refer to Lieutenant Goschel for that.
Thank you for your question. We've been following a ton of leads, looking at a lot of different data and information. It is an expansive area of the United States that we were researching, and unfortunately we didn't have specific location information until recently. Thank you.
Yes.
When can we expect a mugshot of Ashley to be released?
I'll have you email me on privately on that. We'll proceed with that. We'll take one final question here, and then that'll be a wrap for us. Yes.
Is there a motive that you can share with us at all?
The question is to a motive. If we have one established, I'll have Sheriff Brown cover.
We have not established a motive at this point. We have obviously established that it is what's known as a filicide, the slaying of a child, in this case a maternal filicide. And there's been a lot of study and a lot of discussion about that and what motivates people to do that. But as far as an actual direct motive, we haven't established that yet.
Very quick follow-up. I know that Ashley, you had described her as uncooperative throughout the investigation. Can you describe her demeanor now? Has she spoken or confessed in any way? Can you talk about her demeanor now?
Yeah, I can tell you that as of this morning, no, there was no change in her attitude and her demeanor.
So uncooperative.
Uncooperative.
Thank you all very much for coming out and for being patient with us through this process, not just today, but throughout the entirety of the investigation. And again, we really do appreciate the media's coverage of this very important case. And that's going to conclude our press conference for today. Thank you very much.
Authorities followed leads across multiple states, eventually locating critical evidence. While no direct motive has been established, this case is confirmed as a maternal filicide. Ashley Buzzard has remained uncooperative throughout the investigation. The pursuit of justice for Melody continues. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more courtroom stories.